All right, hello again, everyone. This is Jeff Scott from Jeff Teaches Programming, and we are in the middle of writing a console application, and that console application is a payroll app. All right, so again, it is a payroll app. I don't know what's going on here. I lost part of this. Oh, I know what it is. Here we go. It's a payroll app. Right now, we've got the hourly worker working. And we've got the piece worker working, but we have yet to implement the commission worker, where we have to put in a commission percentage and a sales, and then one multiplied by the other to find out what they make per week, and a salaried worker, which just has to check to make sure it's between 0 and 100,000. All right. Now, I wanted to give you a quick update on something. And that is, I had said that I was going to put this out, all my code out there on GitHub, and I've been trying. The problem is, and I want to show you this, this is the GitHub channel I had when I was an instructor at Rankin Technical College. And I think there's like 307 repositories out there on all sorts of things. There's C#, there's Java, there's Android stuff, there's HTML stuff, etc. And if you go out there and you click the repositories button, you're going to see this. There's my mug, and there's all the things that are in here. All right? And they're all from 2024 and earlier. The problem is, when I want to get to this, I have to be able to know what the login is for JP Scott Rankin, and I foolishly lost the password. So I tried to contact the help to see how do I recover an account whose email I no longer access. Because the JP Scott at rankin.edu, which was my email address at Rankin, went away when I retired. They have not yet gotten back to me. So as soon as they do, I want to put that stuff out there, and I'll let you know exactly where it is. But let's finish this. The minimum commission percentage, maximum commission percentage, minimum commission sales, max commission sales, and then the min and max salary. I'm going to grab one of the ones that I just have used in here. I'm going to grab what I used for hourly, and I'm going to just copy it. All right, doesn't matter which one of these I use, because I'm going to start changing stuff right away anyway. Nope, not there, please. There we go. So we're in commission. So we don't want hours worked. We want com PCT, and that'll be input valid com PCT for commission percentage. It doesn't exist. That's why we're getting the error. And this will be com sales. All right. So this will be input valid com sales. We'll write these in just a moment. And this will be gross pay com for a commission worker. All right. And in order to do that, we are going to calculate gross pay com, for which we'll need the commission percentage. And we will need the com sales. All right. And then we will put all this stuff in there. So commission percentage, and that'll be com PCT, and this will be P2. All right, P for percentage. This will be commission sales, and this will be com sales. And finally, this will be gross pay, and this will be gross pay com, and that'll be it. So that's done. What's left is to write these three functions. All right. So let's do all these. So we'll have in here static, decimal, input this, and for now I'm just going to return 0M so it doesn't break. And you see now I don't have an error there anymore. And then we'll put our second one in here. And again, we will return 0M. So now I have no errors in either of those. Finally, we'll put in our last one. I'm getting errors, but we'll fix them right away. We have to say that this is a decimal. And we have to say that this is a decimal. And then we can quickly write the function. And that'll be simply a return of com PCT times com sales. There. Now we have to write the valid com sales and the valid PCT. We're going to write them the same way we did the other ones. So let me put this in. Forgot that before, so this will be function to read in a valid commission percentage. And I think we said that's between 0 and 30%. And this one will be to read in a valid commission sales, which is between 0 and 100,000. Okay? All right, so now I can just copy one of these in and make my associated changes. Now, like I said, there'll be some errors as I go through this, but we'll fix them all right away. And I think that I did this wrong in that I did the sales first. So let's go to that one. So that'll be commission percentage, which again is between 0.00 and 0.30. So please input commission percentage. And that's between min com percent and max com percent. And we'll put that into com sales string. All right. And then we have to verify that the commission sales entered was numeric, greater than or equal to 0, and less than or equal to 0.30, 30%. This will be a decimal, try parse, and it'll be for com sales string, and we'll put the result in PCT for percentage. All right, so we're going to come in here. As it says, it's the function to read in a valid commission percentage, which has to be between 0 and 0.3, which is 30%. So we ask the user to enter that. We tell them, please input it. We throw it into our read line. Then we verify that it's numeric with the try parse. If it works, we put it into PCT, and we make sure that it's between 0 and 30. And if it is, we return it. Otherwise, we give an illegal message. Not too bad. Let's again, give me some kind of an error here, so let's see. Oh, I think I'm missing. There we go. Yep. This should all be moved over. There we go. No, not these. There we are. Okay, did I fix that? Commission percent. And this is commission sales. And this is the gross pay. Again, I'm missing a curly brace here. Let's see what the heck's going on. Boom, 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 boom. This has to be moved over one. I think I moved it over too much. Okay, now let's do this one. This is the, so again, I think I'm missing a curly brace here. There we go. In return. So let's check that out and see if it works. We've already done our checks on 1 hourly worker and 2 piece worker, so this is 3. So let's put in a commission that's okay. Those all worked. So let's say you make 25%. And price per piece, that's not real good. Didn't change that, so let's change that now. See, we call that one just PCT, so let's just call this one sales. All right, hopefully that fixed it. Three. You already saw this, but nothing. Out of range. Non-numeric, all work. So let's put in 25%, which is 0.25. And there's the price. Let's put in, that works. Still saying price per piece. It's not price per piece, it's input commission sales. changed the comment, but it did not change the actual code. You may have noticed, though, that it actually did work, even though I had wrong variable names in there. Now we've gone and checked for bad cases, so let's put in something that is valid. Oops, sorry. 3. Percentage, we'll say 0.5, no, 0.3, 30%. Sales were $1,000, so it should be 300 if this worked, and it is. So the percentage is 30, the sales are 1,000, the gross pay is 300. All right. So that's all working. So let's do the last one, which is should be at least pretty simple. Okay. So for the salary, again, we'll just copy this. This is going to be even simpler than that one, but that's okay. All right. Salary is going to be equal to input salary, which we haven't written yet. There is no sales, and literally the gross pay. The salary is just the salary. There's nothing to calculate. Okay, so we'll write down the salary, which is also the gross pay, and we'll say it's the salary, and we will do that. So we have to write input salary, and we should be finished then. All right. So that's for a salaried employee. Commission employee. Piece worker employee. And the hourly employee. All right. See, this is getting lengthy. We're going to talk in the next lecture on how we can make that better. Uh-oh. salary. And that's between 0 and 100,000. That's good. So let's move this all over one. All right. Ask the user to input a valid salary, which again is between 0 and 100,000. So please input salary, between min salary and max salary. Okay, so we'll call this salary str and verify that the salary entered was numeric, greater than 0, less than or equal to 100,000. All right, so it's a decimal try parse and it's salary str. Put the result into salary. That'll be salary. That will be salary. That will be salary. And finally, oops, try that again. All right, let's see if we're finished. 400 lines. Whoops, okay, we got an error. Looks like I'm missing a curly brace. Let's see if that fixed it. It's part of the problems, again, when you copy and paste. So number 4, enter a salary between 0 and 100,000. Nothing. Out of non-numeric. Out of range. Out of range. Those all, whoa. No, that wasn't out of range. It's $100,000. So it actually worked. So let's put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out of range. So let's say your salary was 100,000. Okay, salary or gross pay is 100,000. Okay, it all works. Let's take a few minutes and go over the entire program and then talk about what we're going to do in the next lecture. All right. So again, this was first iteration payroll program. Okay, this is allowing us to key in one of 4 possible employee categories. Okay, hourly, piece worker, commission worker, or salaried worker. We use constants for all of our hourly worker, the minimum hours they can work, the maximum hours they can work, the minimum hourly rate they can make, the maximum hourly rate they can make, the maximum number of hours they can work with no overtime. Okay, hopefully those are pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so those were the ones for the hourly worker. All right. Okay. I said this before, but the time to go and put in comments is as you're writing the code. I mean, I'm doing this a little after the fact, but it's better than not doing it all. Doing it at all. This is going to be a little off, but that's okay. Okay. And then finally, the constants for a salaried worker. All right. In main, I put this into an infinite loop because show menu is going to give us our way out. So we call show menu. When we get done with the show menu and it comes back to main, it should do the clear. Okay, I removed all the other clears I had in here. So I tried to, like it says, I tried to put comments in here. So function to show menu so that user can choose the desired employee type or choose to quit program now. So if they enter a 1, they'll be doing an hourly worker, a 2 for a piece worker, a 3 for a commission worker, a 4 for a salaried worker, and a 5 to quit. If they put in something other than a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, we tell them a legal choice, please try again. We ask them to read something that should actually be a write. With a read line, and then we'll return. All right. If they enter a 1, we call hourly. A 2, we call piecework. A 3, we call commission. A 4, we call salary. A 5, we say normal program termination, and this is the way you normally terminate. Environment.exit 0. I'm doing fine. Might go a little longer, this one, sorry. Default is just a breakout. So for an hourly employee, their hours worked gets set to input valid hours worked. Their hourly rate gets set to input valid hourly rate, and their gross pay gets set to calculate pay hourly. Then we write all those 3 out. We tell them to hit any key to continue, and that'll get us back into our main again. So for the pattern for all of these again was the same. We're telling it forever here. Okay, we ask the user to input a valid hours worked, which is 0 to 84. Okay, min and max hours, we put it into hour string, we verify that it's numeric and within the range. So greater than or equal to 0, less than or equal to 84. If it is, we return it because that becomes hours worked. Otherwise, we say illegal input, try again, and we get them right back into here. We do a similar thing then for the hourly rate, which must be between 0 and 99.99. We tell them to enter an hourly rate between this and this, min rate and max, min H rate and max H rate. We put it into rate string. We verify that rate string is numeric by doing the try parse. We validate that it's greater than or equal to 0, which is min H rate, and it's less than or equal to 99.99, which is max H rate. If it is, we return it back into here, and we stuff it into hourly rate. Otherwise, we give an error message, and we stay in the loop. When we calculate our gross pay, it's probably the hardest one out of all of them. All right. So we say, if the hours is less than or equal to 40, it's straight time, no overtime. Gross is just hours times rate. Otherwise, they have overtime coming. So this is their straight time pay, and we add to that their overtime pay, which is the number of hours they worked over 40 minus 40, or the number of hours they worked total minus 40, times their rate times 1.5, and we return the gross. Then we've got our piecework, which again is set up in a similar way. The piece is made is set to input valid piece is made. The price per piece is set to input valid price per piece. The gross pay is simply piece is made times price per piece. All right. and then we print it out when we're done, tell it to continue. So the input piece is made, again, very similar. All right, to what we did before, I did a lot of copy and paste in here. So we see input piece is made, and it has to be between the minimum piece is made, which is 0, and the maximum piece is made, which is 100. We read that in and put it into pieces made string. Then we attempt to take pieces made string and parse it into an integer because it's a whole number. So that had to return an int, where the other ones all return a decimal. All right, and if it's greater than or equal to min pieces made, which is 0, and max pieces made, which is 100, we return it. Again, that pieces goes into here. And if not, we give them an error message and we continue on. All right, then we do a similar thing for price per piece. We ask them to enter the price per piece. It has to be between the minimum, which is 0, and the maximum price per piece, which is $1. We put that into price per piece string. We verify that price per piece string is numeric by trying to do a decimal try parse, and if it works, we put it into price, and if price is between 0 and 100, which are the two constants, we return it, otherwise it's an error message. Again, to do the gross, it's just pieces made times price per piece. Then we went in and did the commission. The commission percentage is to input a valid commission percentage, and the commission sales is to input a valid commission sales. Multiplying percentage times comp sales is what we need to calculate the gross pay for a commission worker, and then we write it out. Again, same pattern we've been using. Okay, so we ask them to enter a commission percentage that's between the minimum, which is 0, and the maximum, which is 30%, which is 0.3. We verify that it's numeric by attempting to do a decimal try parse. We're returning a decimal. And we're making sure you put it into PCT that it's greater than or equal to 0 and it's less than or equal to 0.3. If it is, we return it, and that gets stuffed into here. Otherwise, we have an error message. For the sales, again, same pattern. We ask the user to input the sales. The sales must be between 0 and it's actually 100,000. All right. And we put it into com sales string. We verify that com sales string is decimal, which is what we're returning. And if it works, we put it into sales. And if that sales figure is greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to 100,000, we return it. Otherwise, it's an error message. Finally, well, the gross pay is, again, the percentage times the sales. And finally, the salary. We input the salary, and the salary is the gross pay. We don't even need this. So we can just do it like that. The salary, which is the gross pay. And all we have to do is input this. Let's change it to input valid salary, because to keep it consistent with the other ones that we had put in here. I think we used valid into here also, didn't we? Valid, 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 valid. So I'm just trying to be consistent here. All right, it's going to return a decimal, same pattern we have. We tell them to input the salary between min salary, which is 0, and max salary, which is 100,000. Put it into salary string. We attempt to parse it, salary string, and if it works, we put it into salary. And if we can do that, and it's greater than or equal to 0, and it's less than or equal to 100,000, we return it. Otherwise, it's an error message. That's it. Now, you may or may not have noticed there's a lot of code in here that seems to be repetitious. Why? Because it is repetitious. So in the next lecture, in the iteration 2 of this, what I hope to be able to do is to create a program that's going to cut down on a lot of this. I mean, we're inputting, and when we're inputting, we're checking to see if something is there, if it's numeric, and if it's within range. So maybe we can just write one routine that'll handle all that. Notice all of our stuff is now not grayed out anymore. Okay, so it's, I don't know, it's looking pretty decent. Like I said, it's 400 lines, which is a lot. We'll see if we can cut that down at least a bit in here. Okay, I think we'll be able to do so. All right. I think that's pretty much everything. Okay, so I'll stop right here. We'll pick it up on the next one. One of the things, again, I'm going to do, since this is now working, this is first iteration PayConsole. I'm going to make a copy of it when we start the next one and put it into second iteration PayConsole. So I'll be back with that in a little bit.